it was several decades
Oh
ago,
yeah,
at
so
least,
when
at
you,
the
but
very least.
when you watch the movie, he's young and fierce looking, and then you see him up there, and I mean, he's old.
Yeah, you're reminded, that we all get old.
Oh yeah. Well, look at Joan Collins, or Lucy even, for the last decade of her life.
Phyllis Diller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lucy would absolutely refuse to go out in public because she was always remembered as the 20-something Lucy with, playing.
Even the 40, 50-year-old Lucy.
Uh-huh.
I don't remember how old she was when she died, but she didn't make that many public appearances.
No.
And I think maybe Clint Eastwood should follow suit. I think that I think the overall effect fell flat. And
You do?
I do. I think it fell flat, and I think it reminded us of our mortality. I think the Republican National Convention is not giving us anything except what Obama's not doing or hasn't done. They're not giving us any solutions. They're not coming to the table saying, this is what I'm going to do. This is how
But they
I
already
think we
have.
should do it.
They've already
Like what?
Well,
How does Mitt Romney plan to get us jobs?
by getting the government out of the way.
That still
Quit sucking money out
that still
of the
doesn't
private
give
economy.
us jobs.
Yes, it does.
Getting the government out of the way. How is getting the government out of the way going to get us more jobs?
Well, a perfect example is the Keystone Pipeline. There are probably 400 million pipelines currently, as of now, inside the U.S. And Obama decided, I'm going to not allow the Keystone Pipeline to be built because, it might harm the environment or whatever goofy excuse he came up with. Well, there's millions of them already. It would be an immediate job thing, not just
and so does Mitt Romney plan on giving Americans jobs, or is he going to take his business plan from his former businesses and continue his old practice?
Which is what?
Outsourcing.
Creating jobs?
Outsourcing. Bankruptcy.
But
making money for himself and
you
putting
mean
Americans
outsourcing
out of
like-
jobs and getting the jobs into China.
So you mean
getting the jobs
outsourcing
into
like-
India?
like
Is he going to go over there and get
when
all of these
Obama-
people to come over here to work this Keystone pipeline?
well, so you mean outsourcing like when Obama gave $1 billion to Petrobras, a foreign company, or maybe when he gave a couple $100 million to Solyndra and it went bankrupt. And then there's Xcel Energy, which also was another Obama donor. Interestingly enough, got a couple $1 million sweetheart deal, taxpayer money, and they went bankrupt. And then there was the Finnish company that was supposed to build cars in Finland, not here in the U.S. So do you mean that kind of outsourcing where he
No, I
takes
mean this kind
taxpayer
of
money
outsourcing.
and he funnels it out to...
Bain Capital propelled Dade Behring toward bankruptcy while cutting 1,700 jobs,
That's...
but yet making $242 million. Romney and his partners
were
made $12 million
already
from
in-
GS Industries while 750 workers lost their jobs, and pensions benefits were cut up to $400 a month. Romney's firm reaped $100 million while they laid off workers and racked up debt, plunging AMPAD into bankruptcy.
Wow, quite
So
the
that's
list.
the kind of what I'm talking about. He
Well, whose money was that, Richard?
specialized in relocating jobs of American workers to new facilities in low-wage countries like China and India.
Yeah, but
India.
Whose money was that, Richard?
Wouldn't it be American money if you're
No,
laying
that-
off 1,700
that
workers?
That would be Bain Capital's money. That would be Bain Capital's
But
money.
how much money of that?
It wasn't taxpayer money that was sent overseas. It wasn't taxpayer money that was used to bail out his political friends. It was his own money from his own company.
So that makes it different.
Oh, absolutely.
It makes it different that
Because
Romney
I
puts
didn't have to
1,700
pay
people out
for
of
it.
work
I
so that
didn't
he
have
can
to
reap
pay
and his
for it.
company can reap. I want to ask you another question.
But there's 23 million. What'd you say? 1,700 people.
23 million people out of work. Don't try that. That's a fallacy.
Actually,
that is
it's,
something that Clint Eastwood said last night that
16
is just absolutely wrong.
It's actually
and there was
16
another
million.
problem with that. A lot of the things that
It's actually 16
that
million.
16 million. Well, that's not 23 million that was being said last night
Yeah, I
at the
looked up
Republican
the
National Convention.
department.
And also
Well,
Paul
they're
Ryan,
talking underemployed too.
all kinds of fallacies that they're allowed to spew at the Republican National Convention. Spew in my face like acid. The fallacies that are spewing out of their mouths to
Like
to
what?
fear to have more fear of the American public.
How is we own this country and the politicians work for us fear?
Because they are going to continue not to have jobs. I want to know where the jobs are coming from.
Well, let me ask
where
you
are the
this.
jobs coming from? If his record
Let
of
me-
building jobs is I am going to create more jobs for American people. His record is that he doesn't create more jobs.
Well,
He
that's-
removes jobs. He doesn't create jobs. He creates jobs by outsourcing to other countries.
Well, yeah,
So,
we all know Obama does that.
no, we're talking about Mitt Romney.
No,
we're talking about Mitt
Obama,
Romney. We're
because
talking
that's what
about Mitt
Obama
Romney. I
does.
want to know how Mitt Romney is going to create more jobs for the American people.
Well, wait a minute. So Mitt Romney's president today, right?
No, but he wants to be. And so if we're talking
well, I
about
mean,
the Republican National
but
Convention,
who's in
I want
charge
to know President Obama's in charge.
So
but
so when we go from 7.2% unemployment. That was January 20th, the day he took office. The day.
correct.
And a 10 trillion debt the day he took office. And his promise was, give me $800 billion and unemployment will go below 8. It's now pushing 9 for 4 years. And the debt has gone from 10 to 16. 10 is smaller than 16. 16 is a 50% increase.
Thank
so
you. I
if you
didn't
say,
think I
well,
could figure that in my head.
my plan is going to be a 50% reduction in the debt, how does increasing it by 50% work as far as, gee, I'm doing a good job? So if
Still, my question's not
and
being
there are more
answered.
peop-
How
more
is
people
Mitt
are-
Romney proposing to make more jobs?
he's going to get the government out of the way. Do things like let us drill, like in America, instead of buying oil from overseas. He's going to stop quantitative
Mitt Romney
easing.
can do that.
Yeah. Because it's currently the EPA that's blocking it. And the EPA is controlled by, guess who? Ken Salazar, who hates oil. Wants us all to drive electric cars. But how's that working out for GM? They made all those Obama mobiles and, golly, nobody's buying them. Wonder why. Oh, that's right, because we have gas stations that were not electric power plants. But, don't worry, we're going to close all 50% of the coal plants here, too.
But hybrids
Obama
really are
wants
on
to
the
bankrupt-
rise.
Obama wants to bankrupt the coal industry. You know that. I mean, he admitted that. And
I
80% of our
I
power-
really don't know that.
That's actually true. You can look it up. Google it.
So, still, how is Mitt Romney going to get us more jobs? Are you going to
He's-
go work in the Keystone
Oh,
pipeline?
God, no. Well, I might, work as a secretary or something. But I sure as hell am not going to be out there in the rough, heaven forbid.
I want to ask you another question. If you are staunchly against abortion, shouldn't you not want to reap money from it?
I'm sorry, what?
If you are staunchly against
If
abortion,
you're against abortion,
shouldn't
okay.
you not want to reap money from it?
How would I reap money from abortion?
By investing in companies that basically
Again, it comes back
get
to
rid of the fetus
but
in a proper way.
That's not
I
even.
believe it's
That's
called
not even true.
Sterilite or something
Sterilite, he never ever even he loaned Sterilite some money once, I believe. He was never on the board of directors, never had any control over the
like that. Oh,
company.
but here's my money to build your business.
But let me ask you again. Whose money is it? It would be Bain Capital's money. It would be private investment. It wasn't me coming up to you, emptying your wallet and saying, I'm going to give it to
so
something
that somehow
Like
gets
Planned
him
Parenthood,
gets
yeah,
him
because
out
they get
of the
taxpayer
target because
They get taxpayer funding.
Bain Capital was not Mitt Romney.
Planned Parenthood. They're federally funded, which means that I have no choice in funding them. I can decide I'm not going to do business with Bain Capital. I cannot, patronize Chick-fil-A because I don't want them to have my money. But I can't not patronize the government, or they put me in prison. Can Chick-fil-A arrest you with a SWAT team and put you in prison because you don't buy their chicken sandwiches? No. The federal government can.
Certainly, but
So
what is the problem with Planned Parenthood? Why would
well,
we?
it's an
why would
abortion
we-
mill for one,
So
but it's also funded by the taxpayers. If they're so wonderful, they can do like Bain Capital and use their
But
own
Planned Parenthood
money.
just doesn't supply abortion.
Well, it's not relevant. Why does the federal
Why is it
government
not
need to-
relevant? It is
Well-
relevant. If we've
Well, then
got
I think the
16-year-olds
federal
having
government
sex
should
and they're
fund
going to
the
Planned
NRA
Parenthood for
then.
their
we
condoms,
should have the NRA tax then, and everybody that's an anti-gun person should be forced by the government to fund gun sales.
well,
Because that would be fair. If people that are, against abortion are forced by the government to fund, Planned Parenthood and PBS and, Solyndra and Westel Energy and all of these others that went bankrupt, I think we should probably force everyone that, hates religion to, go ahead and have a church tax so they can fund churches and the NRA.
Well, don't
and all
you think
other
that we
stuff,
already
because that
are?
would be fair.
We already are sort of funding the churches. They don't
No.
pay any taxes.
Well,
And so,
not paying is different from me coming to your house, taking money out of your wallet and giving it
But
to
why should
somebody
they be
else.
exempt, especially if
I don't
they
think
are
they
in
should
the
be.
political arena?
I don't think
I don't think they should be either.
I don't think anyone should
I don't-
be
I don't think
a
they should be tax exempt.
company.
Hey, we agree.
Well,
We agree, girl. Hey.
well, you'd be surprised how much we agree on. The point is that if you're going to run out there and say, "Oh, well, I'm tax exempt and I don't get in the fray," well, then I suggest you zip it. But if you're going to come out and say, "Well, I'm a 501c3 and I don't really get in the fray, but all of my donations go to one party or all of my ads promote one position," well, you're not really not in the fray. You're right up to your elbows in it.
You're in the middle of it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
So no one, and it eliminates the whole, well, they're not paying their fair share. Well, look at all these 501c3s, and I don't care whose side they're on, left, right, up, down, I don't care. There should be nobody that is exempt. There should be no exemptions. Because think about it like this. When you get ready
I agree.
When you get ready for a pageant, how much money do you personally, not your sponsors or anything, and time do you personally invest?
A lot.
A ton.
Yeah.
And you have skin in the game. You invest your time, your talent, your effort. You get your friends to help you train or whatever you need to do to win. You're making an investment in yourself with your time and your energy and your money because you want a goal. You're trying to reach that goal. You're not coming up to him and stealing money out of his wallet because, it's like, "Oh, well, I hate you, Richard, and I would never help you do anything." But you can still come, reach into my purse, steal my wallet, take everybody cash out and go buy a gown with it. Even though I don't like you, I'm still, and when I call the police, they say, "Oh, no. Richard can steal your money."
But
Do you see the problem there?
certainly I do, but
So,
at the same time,
I can't
Planned
justify
Parenthood
someone
is
not
so much
paying
more than
taxes.
just an abortion mill.
Well, no, I'm not saying they are, but that's one of their primary services.
I don't know if
and
it's primary.
and
I don't think their primary
Well-
goal is to get every pregnant girl an abortion.
oh, you'd be surprised.
No, I don't think I would.
There's
I
enough
think that
investigative
their
reports on it
primary,
that that's what they do a lot of.
I think that their primary focus is to Planned Parenthood.
But they shouldn't receive federal money at all. Not one thin dime.
I am sure that there are
Because
many.
If Planned Parenthood gets to receive billions or millions, I mean, massive
Just
amounts
simply
of
for the
tax,
fact that they are,
let them
how about
survive.
aiding an abortion rights?
Let them survive in the market on their own merit. If their product is so valuable and so good, they don't need the government to support them.
Okay. I don't have much of an argument for that, but at the same time,
Yeah, most people don't.
well, I mean, I actually agree, but at the same time, they are still federally funded.
Yeah, and they shouldn't be.
But there are a lot of things that aren't. How about DOMA?
Don't ask him.
No,
No,
the
that's Dad.
Defense of Marriage Act.
Well,
Um,
but that's not an organization. That's not a company.
sure.
They don't have employees. That's legislation.
No, I bet they do have employees, and it's called the Republican Party.
Well, yeah, but those employees, as Clint Eastwood
And we
said,
pay them,
they're paid,
and we're paying
and
them.
they can be
and so
fired.
at some point, if they're not doing their job, we should fire all of them too.
But
Because
again,
really what DOMA is
exactly
to
what Clint
prevent-
Eastwood said. If
is
you're
to
not doing the
prevent
job,
civil rights.
you're an employee of mine. The Congress, the President, they are the federal. Anybody that works at the state here, the DMV, they are employees of ours. We don't work for them, they work for us. We pay their salary. If they're not doing a good job, or based on whatever reason you want, fire them.
Okay,
Get-
so Mitt
get the
Romney
votes to
is
fire them.
applying for the job.
Yes, Mitt Romney is applying for the job.
He's applying for the job, and so based on his track record of creating jobs,
But you have a choice to say, I'm willing to give you a chance. I'm willing to hire you and see how you do.
well, apparently, I mean,
Or
we all are. I mean,
not.
he's gotten the Republican nomination, and so
True. But Obama got the Democrat
we have-
nomination, so that's irrelevant.
we
Carter got the Democrat now. It's irrelevant. So he got the nomination.
so we have two
That's
choices.
not- yeah,
we have two choices for the job that's coming up in January of 2013, and so you believe that the current job
Admin-
holder is not doing his
Qualified,
job,
he's not
and so
doing
I
his
would.
job.
I still want to know.
So I believe he
I
should
still-
be fired.
Okay. And so convince me that Mitt Romney, who has a track record
Target.
of cutting jobs
Target.
of
Target.
Target.
Target is still in business today because of Bain Capital. You know Target.
Sure, I know Target.
Well,
Yeah.
they wouldn't be alive today if it wasn't for Bain Capital. How many employees do you think they got?
Oh, I bet they have
What about Foot Locker?
a lot.
You ever heard of Foot Locker?
No,
Never?
I'm playing.
I know. Well, they don't have heels there, so.
Of course, I know Foot Locker.
Well, I was just going to say because it
But
wouldn't
his
surprise
track
me.
record is
Foot
that
Locker,
he
they'd be out of
cuts
business.
jobs and he outsources.
No.
And so
He saves companies.
how-
Some companies
he saves
cannot
companies?
be saved.
I have information here saying that he bankrupts companies.
Well, some companies can't be
He
saved.
forced Ampad into bankruptcy. Bain Capital acquired American Pad and Paper, or Ampad, or Mead Corp., embarking on a roll-up strategy in which the firm buys up similar companies in the same industry in order to expand revenues and cut costs. Through Ampad, Bain bought several other office supply makers, borrowing heavily each time. By 1999, Armpad's debt reached nearly $400 million, up from $11 million in 1993 in 6 years. And that's according to government filings.
Yeah, but again, that's
sales grew too
private
for
money.
a while, but in the late 1990s, foreign competition increased buying power by superstores like
all
Bain-funded
comes-
Staples, sliced Armpad's revenues.
Well, let's see. What was the total amount?
What do you mean?
Well, how much did they go in debt?
$400 million.
$400 million. And whose money was it?
Ampad's debt reached nearly $400 million. This is one company.
One company. $400 million.
$400 million.
Are you absolutely sure?
That's what
Whose money was
this
it?
government filing is stated.
Whose money was it?
My point is,
Whose money
how
was
many
it?
jobs were lost by
Whose
Bain Capital?
money was it?
So it's Bain Capital's.
Okay.
However,
hold on. Now that we've established that Bain Capital, a private company, lost
jobs.
Hold on. They
forces people into
Can I speak?
forces the company into
Do I
bankruptcy.
get a chance here at
Yes,
all?
absolutely.
Then
But I'm
let me
making it very
rebut.
clear. These jobs were cut. They were forced into bankruptcy, overspending. And so if you're
Well,
going
wait a
to make a
minute, wait a
point that
minute.
this is just, if
Wait a
this
minute.
is just a company, well, he wants to run the company that we live in. And so if you're trying to say that Obama is just as bad, well, then we've got someone that just does it here on a smaller venue and wants to do it on a larger venue called
Well,
the American people
Okay.
and the American government.
May I
And
re-
so what
may I
his
rebut?
track record is
May I
that he
rebut?
goes into bankruptcy and
May I rebut?
increases debt. So how is it
I
going to be different?
rebut. All right. So, don't speak, just nod your head. Because I don't want you to get on a tear again.
I'm not on the tear. I'm just saying.
Okay, so
If you're going to say that
Bain
Obama's
Capital-
doing it, we
Bain
already know
Capital-
that Mitt Romney's track record says that he does it on a smaller scale.
Mitt
And
Romney.
what he will do is
See
on a
how
larger
long
scale.
that lasted? That didn't last a minute. That's why I said nod your head.
Still want to remind you, it's my show.
Snap!
Okay, rebut.
All right.
Rebut.
Okay, so Bain Capital, a private corporation, using their own money, not funded by, they didn't, it wasn't taken from anyone, it was their own money, lost $400 million. Let's contrast that with the $800 billion of taxpayer money that went to the public employees unions, who are federal workers, General Motors, who are all union workers, rather than to keep them from going in bankruptcy, and now they're still going into bankruptcy. Then we've got Solyndra. That was $500 million to one company. And that wasn't private money, that was taxpayer funds that I'm on the hook for, and you're on the hook for.
And so we're going to blame Obama for this?
Well, that would be what he wanted. He wanted.
Are we also going to blame him for
the
failure
he's
of
responsible.
the auto industry?
He's responsible for the bailout. It was his $800 billion that he wanted.
Only him.
He got it.
He was the only one involved in the bailout.
Well, actually, it was Nancy Pelosi, Harry Reid, and the Democrat House and Senate, but, so it was a Democrat policy to take $800 billion from the taxpayers and bail out all the public unions and GM and Solyndra and all these other companies, and Solyndra does not exist anymore, and that was you and me on the hook for it, not Mitt Romney.
Again, now what we're
So
doing
Mitt Romney
is we're
lost his
still,
own money.
just like in the
Mitt
Republican
Romney
National
lost his
Convention,
own
we are
money.
talking about
He didn't
Obama.
lose
And what I
money.
want to do is I want to talk about Mitt Romney.
Yes,
I'd like
but-
to talk
but
about
we have to talk about the whole picture.
during the 15 years
Mitt
that Romney was
Romney didn't
actively involved in
take a
running
dime
Bain,
from me.
it owned companies that were pioneers in the practice of shipping work from the United States to overseas call centers and factories. During
Obama
that
did the
nearly
very
15
same
years
thing.
that Romney was actively involved in
Obama
running
did
Bain,
the very
a
same
private
thing.
equity firm he founded, it owned companies that were pioneers in the practicing of shipping work from the United States to overseas call centers and factories making computer components according to filings with the securities.
Obama has done the same thing, but he didn't do it with his own money. He did it with mine.
And so, explain
And
to
then
me
he gave
how,
me the bill.
explain really how
There's-
it's going to be different if we give him the job. If he's elected into the
Well,
office of president, why would his track
100%
record then be
increase.
different with your money?
100% increase in the price of gasoline. 100%
And so we're going to
increase.
blame that on Obama.
He's
Are we
had
also going to
4
blame
years.
Obama for Isaac? Because they're already
Well-
blaming the gays, so why not blame Obama for that?
Well, it was Bush's fault that we had high gas prices, remember?
Bush, Republican.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if it's Bush's fault when he's the president that we have high gas prices, and we have high gas prices now, then that means that if you want to be consistent, you have to blame Obama. If you say, well, no, it's not Obama's fault, then you're a hypocrite and you're not willing
I'm not
to
saying
accept
it's
the fact-
Obama's fault. What I'm trying to do
I
is
am.
I am trying to find out how Mitt Romney is going to rebut
He's not
this
going
track
to,
record.
He's not.
His track record is to bankrupt,
His track
overspend,
record
and
is to save
outsource.
companies. Some
No,
companies
it's not.
cannot
His
be
track
saved.
record is to make money while shutting companies down.
I will bet you $100 right here on film that there's not a single company in that list that you have that is one that he turned around. Not a one. The only thing you have on your list is the companies that failed.
And there
You
are
don't have
many
a
of them.
and there are many that succeeded.
Like
I just named one. Target.
Target,
Foot
Foot
Locker.
Locker.
That's two off the top
and
of
have
my
they
head.
completely turned around? Have they completely turned around since he left Bain Capital or during Bain Capital?
Are they in business today?
But that has absolutely nothing to do with Mitt Romney if their success is after the fact. And so,
The only thing you're going to say about Romney is that
Is
he
I-
bankrupted. He took his own money and